Hello, my name's Grin, and this is my beard. So the crumb that I'm pulling out of my beard today is going to be another Japanese story about my first girlfriend in Japan. When I'd been in Japan for about I don't know 2 months when met my first girlfriend in Japan. So I was staying at a share house or something like that, a host house where this lady Sunny was hosting me as a foreigner who comes and stays, and she's supposed to mentor me in Japanese and stuff, and show me or give me some ideas of what to do in Japan. She was very helpful, very helpful, and then she helped me find another apartment while I was uh, kind of working a part-time job as an English teacher. And the thing about this apartment is she took me to it, and it was a big, like, tall apartment building complex. I don't know, just a really big place. And we were on like the sixth floor or something like that. That's where the apartment that my room would be. And this place had three rooms in it. So it had two like Japanese style rooms with the tatami flooring, and then one, I guess, regular Western style room with like wooden floor, wooden flooring, and then it had a kitchen and a bathroom. And the kitchen was also the living room, so it was like living room kitchen. So you come in, there's a room on the left side, that's the regular Western style room, and on the right side was a bathroom and shower and a laundry room. And then you keep coming in through the hallway, and then it opens up into the kitchen and dining room area. Kitchen's on the right side, and then the living room, I guess you could say, dining living area is on the left side. And then there's two doors on the other side, where each one was a room. It was like a separation, and each one had its own balcony. A great view of the Seibu Dome, which is the theater, or not theater, the arena. What do you want to call it? They do all kinds of different sports and events there. In fact, the Seibu Lions would play baseball there, but also they would have concerts and stuff there too. I think even Luna C played at Seibu Dome once. I missed that. I wish I would have been able to go. But when I first came in there, there was one room that had an air conditioner, and it was coming on summertime, and it was getting really hot, and the humidity was just terrible. And it's like, I've got to have an air conditioner. I'm like, well, obviously, this is the room that I want. I want the room with an air conditioner, because apparently she was trying to find other people to take the other two rooms. So we would all be sharing the pay or the rent on it. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I want this room, this room with the air conditioner. And then I decided on that. It was gonna be like a week before I actually moved in, so we went back, did my thing for a week, and then when it was time to move in, got all my stuff and headed over there. And I come in, and I'm just like, things have changed. There's now a sofa and a table on in the living room area, the living dining room area, and a few other things here and there. And the room that I had chosen was taken by someone else who I had just met. Well, I hadn't even met her yet. My host, who was helping me, said, "Oh, by the way, when we were leaving there, when we were on our way to go take my stuff to the new place, she says, "Oh, by the way, you're gonna have a roommate. You have only one roommate, and she's already there." I'm like, "She? Oh, great. Oh, great." And so I come into this place, and I'm like, "Wow." Uh, well, actually, I take that back. Now I remember, when I got there, there were two rooms that had an air conditioning unit, and one of them was one of the tatami rooms, and the other one was the Western style room. And uh, the the Western style room was not very nice. It was kind of ugly. but it had an air conditioner in it. However, when I came there, the air conditioner was gone. So whoever was in there last took the air conditioner with them. And then the only other air conditioner was the other room, the other tatami room that was on the left, and that's where the this lady who I hadn't even met yet was. And I'm like, okay, great. So I have no air conditioner. So what am I gonna do about that? I guess I mean I'm not gonna stay here long enough to go and buy an air conditioner, which could cost a couple $1,000s for this single unit air conditioner. So I decided, well, shit. I guess that sucks. This even though I had that was the room that I had chosen, and she took it and took the air conditioner. But I'm thinking, okay, if there's just two of us and she's a lady and I'm a man, I guess giving her the room with the air conditioner isn't such a bad thing. I was unhappy about it, but it's like you know I'm young, I can suck it up. So I decided I was gonna just go out when it's too hot. Before during the day when it's too hot, I will go out and just be out and not at home, and then just come home to sleep. Use a just a fan or something like that to keep myself cool. But good God, it was so humid and hot. It was ridiculous. There were so I met this lady, and the first time I meet her, I hadn't seen her. The one time when I moved in, she was inside of her room and she wouldn't come out. She just wouldn't come out. Sonny had gone to talk to her and say, "Hey, why don't you come meet your roommate?" And she just refused. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I left, and I for like 3 days, I guess I wouldn't be home until late at night. And then finally there was a day where it's like I didn't want to go anywhere. Didn't I felt I was tired. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to relax. And I'm in this living room area where there's the sofa, and I'm just suffering. And I've got this fan, and I'm trying to blow the air on me. I'm like, ah, and then lo and behold, this girl pops her head out of. We had these like doors that sliding doors instead of like an open door with a handle. They just slide open, and that's the room that she was in. And so she slides it open, pokes just her head out, looks at me, and says, "It's hot." And then she shuts the door and just goes back in her room, shuts the door. It's like, okay, what was that all about? And I don't know. There was a few more days. It was stuff like that, and till like 3 or 4 more days after that, I came home from doing some shopping or something like that, and instead of being inside of her room, she was outside of her room in the living room, and she had her door open, so the air conditioner was cooling both the living room and her room down. And I was like, oh, well, this is great. Now it's gonna be cool. I hope this. I hated her. She was. Oh, you couldn't even share the air conditioner until now with me. And I was dreading it because I knew she was always hiding away from me and whatnot. And so I figured that as soon as I got there, she would just see me and then run back into her room and shut the door, which seemed to be her style, the way she was doing it. And instead, she stayed out there and just like talked, wanted to talk. We ended up talking for a while, getting to know her, and she had all these weird idiosyncrasies. Like she would things that she would talk. She was Japanese, but she was living in Vancouver, and she was just there to visit her family. I guess her mom was um, her mom was really old, so she was there maybe on the last days. She didn't tell me the whole story about why she was there at the time, and so we ended up for I don't know, a week or so, just every now and then she'd be in that room and she'd open the door up for me, and she'd come in, and we'd just talk. We had some great conversations. Oh yeah, her idiosyncrasies I was going to tell you about. So one of them was whenever I would say something that she would agree with, she'd go but what she really meant to say was so she got that backwards. And I tried to tell her, do you realize, wait, let me ask, are you saying no or yes? And she's like, oh, yes. Oh, okay. When you say yes, it's not it's and she's like, oh, okay. Well, she didn't know that. And if I look at her straight on, she would do this, like, try to cover her face and stuff like that. And if I got really close to her, she'd really get nervous. There was an idiosyncrasy that she always had. She never really got over that idiosyncrasy, and it was cute. It was endearing, and since she now was sharing her air conditioner with me, and we were talking a bunch, it was different. I didn't hate her so much. That hate feeling of, like, God, this person is so annoying and selfish, turned into, well, maybe she just didn't know me, and maybe she was worried. And so some weeks of us having these conversations and being in the room, and learning that we have things in common, and enjoying conversations and whatnot, we ended up uh, deciding to become a couple, even if we didn't know how long it would be. Maybe a short time, maybe a long time. I was still trying to figure out what I was going to do with my visa, if I was going to change things over, or do find a different job, or if the job that I had was going to be my final job or whatever. So we didn't know exactly what was going to happen. It was kind of a temporary, hopefully longer thing. But the point was is that when I first met her, I I hated her guts. She just seemed like a selfish, self-serving person who just couldn't care to share. And I was like the second day or something like that, I'm like, hey, can we share your air conditioner? Can you, like, open the doors and let the air conditioner on? I'll pay the electric bill if you just share it. And she's like, I don't want you to see inside my room. But when she finally did let me see, or when she finally did open it, there was nothing in her room. All of her stuff was packed up in the in the closet that was in there. So I don't know if before she had all of her stuff out and whatnot, but the only thing you could see was her futon, and that was it. So I was like, "What's the big deal? Why don't you want me to see?" It was just another one of her idiosyncrasies, weird idiosyncrasies. I never figured out anything about that. Um, why? Why? But yeah, the I don't know. It was maybe 3 weeks later. We finally had the intimacy of a relationship, and it was crazy. She was quite the opposite in in the bed than she was otherwise. So yeah, she was. Uh, there's that saying, a lady in the street and a freak in the sheets. Well, that's pretty much what it was like. And I wanted to sleep in her room because she had the air conditioner. With- so we she ended up letting me sleep with her in her room after that. But she said, "You can sleep in here with me, but I have to warn you, if you're gonna sleep with here, I'm gonna hold your junk un- until I fall asleep." Like, okay. Yeah, it was really interesting. We ended up I ended up getting a different job and having to go to far away, and we stayed in touch for a while, and then she ended up having to go back to Vancouver, and we had an agreement that was like, in a year, get yourself together in a year. And after a year, she would come back from Vancouver, and if I wasn't with somebody, then and she wasn't with somebody, then we would try to make it something longer lasting. And unfortunately, the whole idea was don't wait for each other. So she had to go and find someone, and I had to go and find someone. It wasn't just like a let's just wait for each other. Let's see if is this really what we want in our relationship. Is this how we want our relationship to go? She couldn't have kids, so that was a big problem for me because I wanted to have kids. So there was that, and then I ended up, I don't know, a month later after she had gone, meeting another lady at a English cafe, so to speak, and asked her on a date, and we went on a date, and a few days later we ended up becoming boyfriend and girlfriend. We stayed together for that was my second girlfriend. We stayed together for I don't know 2 years or something like that, through 2.5 years, um, and then again it was kind of the same thing. It was like she didn't want to have kids, and I did, and we finally decided, you know what, it's it's not it's not really going to work out. So uh, I should go find somebody who I can, create a family with. And so that ended that, and then I ended up meeting my current wife, who I have two kids with, and it was quite the journey to get to that point. But yeah, here's the thing. This is the main point to get out of it. The first person in Japan that I had a loving relationship with uh, was also the first person in Japan that I hated. I hated her. I hated her sticking her nose out and saying it's hot. I hated her saying things all about me as a guy being a sweaty man in the house. Just things like that. I guess she was just teasing me, but to me, I was just like, oh, that pisses me off. You're so selfish. All you got to do is open up your door and let some of that cool air conditioning come into this living room, and we could both, be comfortable. But no, and she loved talking with me, but it was like I get too hot, and I was like, all right, I can't stay here. I gotta go, and I would leave and go somewhere cool. Even the trains were cooler than inside of that apartment. So that's my story. First person I had a intimate relationship with in Japan was somebody that I started out hating and ended up falling in love with. Now, love and hate, very close. It's kind of like a fine line. You could hate someone or love someone just as easily. I think it's true. It must be true. It is true for me. Anyways, thanks for listening. Bye bye.